Smoke rose from the tower like a living cloud, twisting into the sky in angry black coils. On the barren plains around it, the ground glimmered with heat. Every species in the sector had stories about it, stories told in whispers. No one dared enter. Machines sent to inspect it were destroyed instantly. Drones melted in the heat. Even the bravest warriors turned back before reaching its base. The tower was alive in a way no one understood, and everyone feared it. Aaron Vale, a human security guard, stood at the edge of the safety perimeter. His uniform was scratched and scorched from past patrols, but his eyes were steady. Others had laughed when he volunteered for this assignment. Humans were not known for bravery in this galaxy. They were often considered weak, fragile, and expendable. Yet here he was, staring at the tallest structure anyone had ever seen, a tower that burned without fire. Legends spoke of creatures inside, locked away for centuries. Some claimed it was a weapon. Others said it was a trapped monster that would destroy anything near it. Aaron had heard the rumors too, but something about the heat patterns, the rhythm of the tower's glow, didn't feel chaotic. It felt alive, like someone, or something, was calling for help. The alien security team had refused to join him. Humans do not last long in the heat, one of them had said. Aaron smiled, though no one could see it under his helmet. Humans survived in worse conditions, he thought. Maybe they underestimated him, but he didn't care. All he felt was curiosity and responsibility. As he approached the perimeter closer than any had dared, the tower seemed to notice him. The heat intensified and the air shimmered in waves, making it hard to see. Sensors on his suit started to fail. His heart pounded, but he took steady steps forward. For the first time he saw movement inside the tower. Faint shadows, like wings, brushing against walls of molten light. Aaron stopped and crouched behind a ridge. He activated his communicator. "Command, this is Vale. I think there is something alive in the tower. I can feel it, it's trying to signal me." Static answered him, then silence. Command did not reply. They had long ago given up on understanding the tower. Their fear had grown into rules and rules into silence. Aaron didn't need their permission. He studied the walls from his hiding place. The tower was not just metal. It seemed layered, with energy flowing like rivers beneath the surface. Flames and smoke were only the surface show. Deep inside, pulsing lights moved in patterns that no machine could understand. Whoever, or whatever, was inside it was trapped. And it was struggling. Aaron's mind raced with thoughts he had been taught to ignore. If it's alive, then someone put it here, he whispered to himself. And someone must have feared it, feared what it could do. But it's not attacking. It wants help. He took a deep breath and moved closer, keeping low behind scorched rocks. Each step was a risk. The closer he got, the stronger the heat became. His suit alarm blared, warning him of danger. Sweat ran down his face and he ignored it. Finally, he reached a viewing point where the tower's base curved into the ground. Shadows moved faster now, and Aaron could see something massive, a shape covered in scales that glowed faintly through the heat. Its eyes, when it turned to look at him, were deep pools of tired intelligence. Fear left Aaron's chest, replaced by a strange calm. The tower emitted a sound, low and vibrating like a hum of pain. Aaron realized it was not a warning, it was a cry. He crouched lower and whispered, "I'm coming." Around him, the wind carried whispers of fear from the plains, as if the land itself warned him to turn back. But Aaron didn't move. He had seen what others couldn't see, life where everyone else saw danger. And in that moment he understood why no one had gone in. It was not because the tower would destroy them, it was because it expected a choice. Anyone entering would have to decide what mattered more, their own safety or the being trapped inside. Most would turn back. Humans, fragile and underestimated, were rarely noticed. But Aaron had something no one else did, courage born not from strength but from care. The massive shadow inside the tower shifted again. It seemed to stretch, testing its bonds. Heat waves rolled outward, brushing against Aaron's suit. He gritted his teeth and pressed forward. Each step felt like walking into fire, but he kept going. From the top of the ridge, he could see the energy barriers that contained the creature. They pulsed with alien light, strong enough to melt any human machine instantly. But Aaron noticed small gaps, areas where the energy thinned. It was like the tower was weak in places, just enough for someone careful to pass. He crouched and made calculations, measuring heat fluctuations, reading patterns. His heart raced, but he did not fear death. For a moment he imagined stepping back and living, but he couldn't. Not when life waited for him inside the tower. The shadow moved closer to the walls, and Aaron realized the being was aware of him. Its eyes glowed brighter, not in anger but in recognition. Somehow it knew he was different. Somehow it trusted him. Aaron whispered again, almost to himself, "I will help you." The plains around him were silent. Not a single sound except the heat, the tower's hum, and the human heartbeat of a guard who had chosen a path no one else dared. In that moment, Aaron Vale stepped closer to the burning tower, closer to the unknown, and closer to a choice that would change not just his life but the galaxy itself. No one had dared before. But he had. Aaron stood at the edge of the tower's heat, feeling the waves of energy roll over him. Every step closer made the air shimmer and his suit alarms scream. Yet he did not stop. Something deep inside told him this was not just a dangerous place. It was a prison. He carefully approached the faint glow of the energy barriers. Through the heat, he could make out the creature's shape more clearly. It was massive, with scales that shimmered like molten metal. Its wings were folded close to its body, but even in stillness, it radiated power. Its eyes followed him constantly, calm but tired. Aaron realized this was no monster. It was intelligent, patient, and suffering. Aaron crouched behind a scorched rock and scanned the tower's systems with his portable device. Machines from other species had tried before and failed. Their sensors were fried within minutes, their drones melted in the heat. But his device worked because it was human-built, simple, and durable. The patterns he saw in the energy fields were not random. They pulsed with rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. He whispered to himself, "It's alive, and it's hurting." Aaron checked the historical records he had managed to access. The tower was built centuries ago by an alien race known as the Draconis. The records were fragmented, but one thing was clear. Something powerful had been captured and locked inside. Others had assumed it was a weapon, a creature meant to destroy. But Aaron's heart told him otherwise. He adjusted his goggles and focused on the creature's eyes. They were not angry or violent. They were pleading. The tower drained energy from the being, using it to power alien cities and technologies across the sector. No one had thought to look at it as a living creature. They had only feared it. Aaron felt a strange mix of fear and determination. He was not trained to fight giants or dragons. He had no weapons strong enough to defend against such power. But he had something more, human courage and a willingness to help even at great risk. He moved slowly along the ridge, closer to the base of the tower. The creature shifted its massive head and looked at him directly. It did not roar. It did not try to attack. It simply watched, as if acknowledging that he was different from everyone else who had come before. The heat intensified. Sweat ran down Aaron's face under his helmet, and his gloves were almost too hot to hold his tools. The energy barriers hummed louder, warning him to stop. But he could not. He had never seen anyone, or anything, so trapped and alone. Aaron studied the control panels embedded in the tower's walls. They were alien, with shapes and colors that made no sense to him at first. Slowly he understood their purpose. They maintained the energy fields that held the creature. They drained its power, monitored its health, and sent warnings to the galaxy that a dangerous entity was contained. He frowned. This was not protection. It was torture. The creature moved closer to the barrier, stretching its wings slightly. Even from where he stood, Aaron could feel the warmth of its energy. It was alive in a way humans rarely experienced. Powerful, yet suffering, intelligent, yet helpless. He had heard stories of dragons and myths, but this was real. Aaron touched the barrier carefully with his gloved hand. It burned, but he did not pull back. He focused on reading the energy pulses, noting where the field was weakest. There was a chance, just a small one, that he could reach the creature and help it survive. He whispered, "I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to help." The tower responded immediately. Lights flared, alarms blared, and waves of heat pushed him back. Aaron gritted his teeth and pressed forward. The creature shifted again, tilting its head as if encouraging him. Its eyes glowed brighter, and for a moment he felt a connection, a silent understanding between human and dragon. Aaron realized that the being inside could sense him. It could feel his intentions. Unlike other species that had come out of fear, he was not here to capture, kill, or exploit. He was here to protect. That was something the dragon could understand. He examined the energy field carefully, noting a small section where the pulse weakened for a few seconds in each cycle. It was risky, but it was the only chance. He could reach the dragon if he timed it right. His fingers moved quickly across the controls on his device, syncing with the tower's pulses, calculating every movement. The air vibrated with heat, and the dragon lifted its head, wings stretching slightly. The sight of such power restrained and suffering made Aaron's chest tighten. He had never felt anything like it. A decision formed in his mind. He would not leave without trying. Every story he had heard about humans in this galaxy told of fear, weakness, and surrender. Aaron knew he was breaking that story. He was human, yes, fragile and small compared to the dragon, but humans had something unique. The ability to care when no one else did, the ability to act when others turned away. He whispered again to the dragon, "Hold on. I'll find a way." Aaron Vale, a human no one expected to survive, moved closer to the base of the tower. His steps were careful, measured, every movement synced with the pulses of energy. Around him, the plains were empty, silent except for the heat and the hum of the tower. He stopped a few meters from the energy field. The dragon's eyes followed him. He could see the faint glow of its scales through the shimmering heat. It was beautiful, terrifying, and alive. The dragon did not move aggressively. It only waited. It waited for someone who could understand that saving it was more important than fear or life itself. Aaron understood. And for the first time in his life he felt that humans were not just small and weak. He felt that humans could be heroes, even in the galaxy that did not believe in them. The dragon shifted again and a wave of heat rolled outward, pushing him back slightly. Aaron held his ground. He would not turn away. He had come too far. He had seen too much. The tower's fire could not burn away his determination. For a long moment human and dragon stared at each other. No words were needed. Both understood the truth. One was trapped in suffering, the other was willing to risk everything to help. The galaxy had told humans they were small, weak, and disposable. Here in the burning tower, Aaron Vale was proving them wrong. And in that moment the truth became clear. The dragon was not the danger. The real danger was fear, fear that kept everyone away. And Aaron was about to challenge it. Aaron Vale stood just a few meters from the energy field now, sweat running down his face and heart pounding in his chest. The heat was unbearable and his suit alarms screamed constantly. Every nerve in his body begged him to turn back, to leave the burning tower and survive. But when he looked at the dragon, he could see the pain and exhaustion in its glowing eyes. It was alive, intelligent, and trapped. It was suffering and no one else would help. He studied the weak spot in the energy field one last time. It pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Timing would be everything. One wrong move, and the tower's defenses would fry him instantly. The dragon's wings shifted slightly, and Aaron felt as if it was trying to guide him, to tell him he could do it. He whispered under his breath, "I won't leave you here. Not now. Not ever." Aaron took a slow, careful step forward. The air around him vibrated with heat, and his gloves began to burn. He gritted his teeth and pressed on, ignoring the alarms in his helmet. The dragon's eyes followed him, glowing brighter as he moved closer. It made no sound, but Aaron felt its presence like a wave of warmth against his chest. Suddenly the tower reacted. Pulses of energy shot outward, strong enough to melt metal. Aaron stumbled back, nearly losing his balance. His suit flashed warnings: critical temperature, critical heat. Other humans would have panicked and run, but he did not. He adjusted his device and recalculated the timing. The weak spot in the barrier appeared again, shimmering for just a second. That was his chance. He lunged forward, sliding through the gap with all his strength. The heat licked at his skin and sparks flew around him. For a moment he thought he had failed. But then he was inside the inner chamber, facing the dragon fully. It was enormous, its scales glowing with molten colors, its wings folded like a sleeping storm. The heat around it was intense, but it did not attack. It only looked at him, tired but trusting. Aaron's eyes widened as he realized just how powerful the dragon was. He had never seen anything like it. Its body radiated energy, and its eyes held intelligence beyond human understanding. For a brief moment he felt small, fragile, and weak. But he also felt something stronger: hope. The tower's systems flared again, stronger this time. A loud, alien voice echoed through the chamber, a language Aaron did not understand. Then, in simple tones his device translated, it said, "Releasing the entity will result in immediate death for intruder. Proceed." Aaron froze. He realized what the choice meant. If he tried to free the dragon he would almost certainly die. Every story he had heard of humans in the galaxy warned of their fragility, their inability to survive impossible situations. All logic told him to step back, to leave and live another day. But when he looked into the dragon's eyes, all fear vanished. He saw only trust, only need, only life waiting to be saved. His decision became clear. "I choose life for you," he whispered. "Even if it costs me mine." He pressed the controls, overriding the tower's safety systems. The energy fields shimmered and pulsed violently as the dragon's containment began to fail. Heat waves pushed him back and alarms screamed louder than ever. Aaron gritted his teeth and kept moving, his hands flying over the controls. The dragon's wings unfurled slightly, brushing the ceiling of the chamber. Its tail shifted, sending sparks and waves of energy across the floor. Aaron dodged carefully, focusing only on the task at hand. Every second counted. If he hesitated, he would burn alive before the dragon could be free. Finally, the last lock began to give. The energy barriers collapsed, crackling like lightning. Aaron stumbled back, exhausted and scorched, and looked at the dragon. Its massive body moved slowly, testing freedom for the first time in centuries. Its eyes met his, glowing brighter than before. And then something happened that no one could have expected. The dragon extended one wing, and a wave of heat and energy wrapped around Aaron. Instead of harm, it felt protective. He could feel its power shielding him, absorbing the worst of the tower's collapse. Sparks rained down, but they never touched him. For the first time, he realized that the dragon did not just recognize his courage, it respected it. Aaron could barely stand, his suit failing and his body exhausted. But he smiled, faint and tired. He had done the impossible. He had risked everything for another being and survived. And in doing so, he had proven something the galaxy had long ignored: humans were more than weak creatures. They could be heroes even against impossible odds. The dragon moved closer, lowering its massive head so that its glowing eyes were level with Aaron's. It made a soft sound, low and vibrating, almost like a purr. Aaron reached out his hand carefully, and the dragon lowered its snout, allowing him to touch its warm scales. The energy under his fingers was immense, yet comforting, like holding sunlight in his hands. "You're safe now," he whispered. "No one will hurt you again." The tower groaned as the alien systems shut down, unable to contain the dragon any longer. Chunks of molten metal fell, but the dragon's energy shielded both of them from the worst of it. Aaron felt the heat fade slightly, and for a moment he dared to breathe fully. Outside, other species watched in disbelief. No human had ever survived the burning tower, and no one had ever freed a dragon. Aaron Vale had done both. He had made the choice no one expected, to risk everything for another life. And in that choice, humanity revealed something long forgotten: compassion, courage, and the ability to act when all others turned away. The dragon stretched its wings fully for the first time, filling the chamber with shimmering light. Aaron stepped back, exhausted but smiling. He realized the galaxy had changed in that moment. Not because of power or technology or fear, but because of one human willing to care for another being, even at the cost of his own life. And in the midst of the burning tower, with sparks and heat all around, the dragon and the human shared a silent understanding. Trust had been earned, life had been saved, and a story no one expected had begun. Aaron Vale had made a choice that no one else dared. And it had changed everything. Aaron Vale stumbled back as the last of the tower's energy barriers collapsed. Sparks flew, molten metal rained down, and heat waves shimmered around him. His suit was damaged and his gloves were scorched through. He coughed and wiped sweat from his face, but he was alive. And so was the dragon. The creature moved slowly, testing its strength. Its wings spread wide, glowing with molten colors, filling the chamber with light that made even the blazing heat seem gentle. Aaron watched, awe and exhaustion mingling in his chest. He had never seen anything so magnificent and so alive. Its massive eyes met his, filled with intelligence, trust, and recognition. For a long moment, neither moved. The tower groaned, collapsing in chunks around them, yet somehow they were safe. Aaron realized that the dragon had protected him. Its energy shielded him from the worst of the heat, absorbing more than his human body or suit could ever withstand. He staggered forward carefully, reaching out to touch its warm, glowing scales. "You're free," he whispered. "No one will hurt you again." Outside, alien observers who had monitored the tower watched in disbelief. Security drones had remained on the perimeter, unable to act as the human and the dragon moved inside. Now, recordings showed what no one could believe. A human, frail by alien standards, had entered the tower, survived impossible heat, and freed a creature considered too dangerous to approach. The aliens exchanged confused glances. "How?" one whispered in shock. "It shouldn't have been possible." Aaron, breathing heavily, stood beside the dragon. He was a small figure compared to the massive creature, yet he did not look weak. The truth became clear to anyone watching. Humans were not the strongest, but they had something more dangerous than strength. They had courage, care, and a willingness to act when everyone else turned away. The dragon lowered its massive head toward him, brushing its glowing snout gently against his shoulder. Aaron felt a warmth that went beyond heat, something like trust, recognition, and gratitude combined. He had risked everything for this being, and the dragon knew it. No machine or weapon could measure that choice. The alien monitoring teams began to process what they had witnessed. Drones that had melted in the heat were replaced by sensors recording the aftermath. The dragon moved freely now, stepping carefully through the collapsed parts of the tower, testing the ground. Its eyes never left Aaron. The observers realized something extraordinary. The dragon did not see him as prey or weak, it saw him as an ally, someone worthy of life and trust. Aaron stumbled slightly but smiled faintly. His body ached from heat and exertion, but he felt something stronger than pain. Humanity, for once, had revealed itself as more than fragile creatures. They were beings capable of sacrifice, of seeing the living world when others only saw danger. He had acted where others feared, and in doing so he had changed perceptions forever. The dragon lifted into the air slowly, its wings stretching wide. Sparks and light shimmered as it tested flight. The tower continued to groan, collapsing further, yet neither the dragon nor Aaron was harmed. The observers could see it clearly. A human had survived what no machine or alien could survive, guided by nothing but courage and care. Aaron wiped sweat from his brow and looked at the dragon, its massive body radiant and powerful. "You're safe now," he said again. "The tower can't hold you anymore. You can choose where to go." The dragon tilted its head, wings folding slightly, and let out a low, vibrating hum. It was not a sound of anger or aggression, it was a sound of connection, of understanding. Aaron realized the creature could sense intent. It recognized the choice he had made, to put another life above his own. The heat of the tower seemed to lessen slightly, as if the dragon's energy balanced the collapse around them. Aaron took a deep breath and looked at the observers through the remaining energy field. Their faces were pale, eyes wide in disbelief. No human had ever acted like this. They had underestimated the species, believing them small and expendable. But here was proof. Humans could act with courage, with care, and with intelligence that machines and fear could not match. Aaron stepped forward, placing a hand on the dragon's glowing chest. The warmth was immense but gentle, and he felt a pulse, steady and strong. "You'll be free," he whispered. "And I'll be okay too." The dragon bent its head lower, brushing against him as if to say, "I know." Aaron realized that survival was not just about strength or armor, it was about connection, trust, and understanding. And humans, fragile though they were, had all of these qualities in ways no other species could match. The observers began to record everything carefully now. The dragon's movements were elegant, precise, yet gentle. Aaron stood beside it, a small figure in the glow of molten energy. It was a perfect display of what humans could do when they acted without fear, when they put others first, and when they followed their own courage instead of rules or expectations. For a long moment, silence reigned. Then, slowly, the dragon stepped fully into open space, wings fully spread. It glided above Aaron, careful not to harm him. The tower crumbled behind them, sparks raining into the plains, yet both were unharmed. Aaron smiled faintly. Humanity had revealed itself in the most impossible way, small, fragile, yet brave enough to act when no one else could. He looked up at the dragon, glowing and free, and felt a quiet pride. The galaxy would talk about this moment for centuries. Not because of power or strength, but because a human had shown courage and care beyond expectation. Aaron Vale, who no one expected to survive, stood in the burning tower's ruins, alive and having done the impossible. Humanity had been revealed, not in war, not in machines, not in conquest, but in compassion, courage, and the simple choice to protect another being at the risk of life itself. The dragon rose higher, spreading wings wide across the sky, and for the first time, Aaron knew the galaxy would never underestimate humans again. And in that moment, a quiet truth spread across the plains and beyond. Humans were fragile, yes, but they could shine brighter than the strongest fire. And Aaron, standing alone but unafraid, realized that his choice had done more than save a dragon. It had revealed humanity to the stars. Aaron Vale stood on the plains, watching the dragon glide across the sky. Its scales shimmered like molten metal, and its wings spread wide, cutting through the clouds with power and grace. The ruins of the tower smoldered behind him, but the air felt lighter now, as if the heat and danger had been replaced by something stronger, hope. He could hear the whispers from the distant alien observers. Their recordings were being transmitted across the sector, and news of what he had done would spread fast. Humans were rarely noticed by the galaxy. They were considered small, fragile, and weak. But Aaron's actions had shown a different truth. Humans could act with courage, with care, and with choice that no machine or alien power could replicate. The dragon, Aurelian Pyra, circled back and landed near him, careful not to crush him under its massive claws. Its eyes glowed softly, intelligent and calm. Aaron approached slowly, unsure what to do next. He had saved the dragon, but now he realized the galaxy was watching. His species would be judged based on this moment, and he hoped they would see what he had always known. Humans were more than their size, more than their frailty. "You're free," he said quietly, touching the dragon's warm, glowing scales. The dragon made a soft hum, almost like a response, acknowledging the bond between them. Aaron smiled faintly. He had risked everything, and yet, somehow both of them had survived. In the days that followed, alien ships approached cautiously. They had never seen a human survive the burning tower, much less free of being thought impossible to touch. Many came with fear, but Aaron stood firm, guiding them to see the truth. The dragon was no threat. Its energy was immense, yes, but it would not harm those who showed care and respect. Other dragons, sensing freedom and safety, began to awaken across distant worlds. Long hidden, long trapped by fear and misunderstanding, they rose into the skies, curious and cautious. They, too, recognized the human who had acted without expectation of reward, who had risked life to save another. Aaron understood then that humans were rare in this way, species capable of true empathy, capable of acting when no one else would. Aaron returned to simple duty, patrolling the plains and checking the remains of the tower. He did not seek fame or reward. He had acted because it was right, not for recognition. Yet, messages and signals arrived from across the sector. Other species, once dismissive or fearful of humans, began to send observers, scholars, and diplomats. They wanted to understand what kind of species could act with such courage and care, risking life for another being without gain. Aurelian Pyra remained close but never intruded. The dragon seemed to understand that Aaron's role was quiet, human, and unassuming. Yet their bond was strong. The dragon would return to the stars when needed, and Aaron would remain on the ground, a symbol of humanity's unique strength. One evening, as the sun set and the plains glowed orange and gold, Aaron stood beside the dragon. He watched it lift into the sky, circling once before disappearing toward distant planets. The air felt peaceful, full of possibility. Humans were no longer unseen, no longer underestimated. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. There was a species small in size but immense in courage, capable of choices no other being would make. Aaron reflected on what had happened. The burning tower, once a place of fear, had become a symbol. Not of danger but of choice. Not of weakness but of unexpected strength. Humanity had shown that sometimes, the smallest hands could change the course of the galaxy, simply by choosing life, trust, and care. In the months that followed, alien researchers came to study the area around the tower. They found traces of energy shielding, evidence of the dragon's power and Aaron's survival. They reported the incident to their leaders, emphasizing that humans were not to be underestimated. Other species began to treat humans differently, with respect, caution, and curiosity. They realized that humanity's power lay not in weapons, not in size, but in decisions, courage, and compassion. Aaron continued his patrols not for fame or glory but because he cared. He visited the tower ruins daily, remembering the moment he had first seen the dragon trapped, the moment he had chosen another life over his own. Every time he thought of that choice, he understood more deeply the value of humanity, small in appearance, fragile in body, but capable of acts the galaxy could not predict. The dragons, once hidden and feared, became allies of humanity. They responded to humans who acted with care and courage, recognizing the rare quality that few species possessed. Humans were no longer ignored or underestimated. Across distant stars, in alien cities and colonies, tales spread of a human who had survived the burning tower, freed a dragon, and revealed the species no one understood. Aaron watched the skies, feeling a quiet pride. The galaxy had changed in a subtle but permanent way. Humans would still face danger, still be underestimated, but their reputation as a species capable of true courage and care was now undeniable. Aurelian Pyra returned occasionally, circling the plains, a reminder of the bond between human and dragon, between courage and life. Aaron smiled faintly, looking at the horizon. He had done what no one expected. He had risked everything, yet gained something greater, the recognition that humanity, fragile though it seemed, could shine in ways the galaxy had never imagined. He realized that humans were not the strongest in battle, nor the oldest in the stars, but they were capable of choices that could change worlds. And so, the plains around the burning tower, once feared and abandoned, became a quiet symbol of hope. Dragons roamed the skies, aliens observed with newfound respect, and humans, small and fragile, were seen as a species capable of greatness. Aaron Vale continued his patrols, not seeking recognition, but knowing that in the choices of one human, the galaxy had learned the truth. Humans were more than anyone had ever understood. The story of the human who saved a dragon spread across worlds. It became a legend, told and retold, reminding all beings that courage was not always loud, strength was not always measured in power, and even the smallest species could change the course of history. Aaron Vale, quiet and unassuming, had done what no one else dared. He had risked life for another being, revealed humanity's hidden strength, and shown the galaxy that the species no one understood was capable of greatness beyond imagination. And in the skies above, dragons glimmered in the sunlight, free and alive, a living testament to the courage of one human who dared to care.